We're recording.
Yep. It's
Awesome.
recording.
Yay. Okay, sorry. Thanks for hanging in there with us, guys. Welcome to our team meeting. Woohoo! Thanks for getting on. Because hopefully this works, but hopefully it's not backwards or anything. If you guys, sorry, what? Are we good? Let's just dive right in because I know some of you are on the East Coast and are probably exhausted. So if you guys can mute yourself, if you're not muted, and then we are going to start. Okay, can you guys see that? Thumbs up? Okay, cool. All right, where are we getting? Okay, welcome to our team call. So Super Saturday, I went to the training portion of our Super Saturday. It was 3 hours long and it had these crazy, Caleb was there, Christine Dwyer, who we're gonna be hearing her talk today. That's what I'm gonna be going over. And then we had Brandy Botts and we had one more person that I'm blanking on right now. Anyway, they had this exclusive training. It was 3 hours long. It was awesome, but Christine Dwyer's was just really amazing. So I am basically giving you the talk that she gave us, but I'm gonna shorten a little bit. So this will be recorded. So if you guys have questions or are confused, you can always go back and then we can talk about it more and you can always message me because I'm just learning this as well, but I'm really excited about it. I feel like it's gonna be, a game changer. And I've heard Shalene Johnson, who is Christine Dwyer's best friend, talk about this a ton, and a ton of other top coaches, and I just think it's the way to go. So if you don't know Christine Dwyer, she is amazing. She has 6 business centers. She has the largest network in Beachbody, so the most coaches underneath her. She has, I said 6 business centers. She's in the millionaire club, like way into the millionaire club, and she's just amazing. So this is from her. So this is not my own content. This is Christine. So the very first thing she talked about, just really quick, that I wanted to go over was free groups and how every new coach should do this. This is like, she said, this is a way to set up wins from the beginning. So it's really easy to invite to a free group, first of all, much easier than a challenge group. And then you're getting the before and after photos, which I never thought of this. She says, I never do a clean eating group, a free group, without asking for before and after. So I say, yes, come into my group. You're going to get recipes, meal plans, support, accountability, tips. And all I ask in return is that you let me use your before and afters for my business. And she says, I'll cut off your head or whatever, but it just helps me grow my business. And usually people are like, yeah, cool, no problem. So she has them take before photos and then after photos. Yes, it's only 7 days, so they might not be amazing, but she says it's somewhere to start, because if you're a brand new coach, you need to have something that people are going to want to be in your groups for, right? So if you say, I have helped people, these are their before and afters from 7 days, that's somewhere for a new coach to start. And another thing she does, she takes the meal plan from T25, but there's tons of meal plans. We have some in our group. Forward Fitness has a ton. There's meal plans everywhere that you can look up, but there's meal plans with all of our programs too, with PIO, T25. So she uses those, and she gives 1 meal plan a day. So what a lot of people do, I think we've noticed, is they'll hop into your group, they'll get all your recipes, meal plans, all that stuff we put in the file, and then they're out. Then they don't check in the rest of the group. They just wanted that stuff. So she says, every day I'm going to give you the new day. So you have to actually check in every day. If they don't check in by noon the next day, she actually removes them from the group, which I don't know that I would do, but she, it's working for her. She's like, yep, I take them right out. And then at the end, she says, on the Saturday or Sunday, she says, please take your photos, send them to me. And then she has these photos. So that's what she does with her free groups. There's a little bit added on to what we do, but I wanted to share that with you guys. So the top 2 mistakes she made, you guys can see this PowerPoint, right? Do I need to adjust it? Okay. As a new coach that I made as well, so I wrote them down, was memory and trust. So when I first started as a coach, I used my memory to remember people. So I would go through my message box in Facebook and I would just like kind of scroll through it and be like, oh yeah, I need to invite them, or I need to invite them. And eventually that got too much for me to handle, and people were slipping through the cracks. So then I started writing it down on a piece of paper, and eventually that was too hard to keep track of. And now I have this really awesome Excel spreadsheet that I use through Google that's been working really well. But it doesn't have to be an Excel spreadsheet if that just freaks you out, the thought of that. but find something, because just using your memory and just, oh, I'll remember everybody, because when you first start, you can, but quickly it will develop into where people will slip through the cracks. And you're going to need a better system. And I've had that happen where I've gone back to people and be like, oh, I should message them. And saw that the last message I sent was, yeah, I'll follow up with you right when before it's time to be added into the group or something, and realize I didn't. And I just looked like a bad coach. So we don't want to use our memory. And the second thing is trust. So if you're going to tell someone you're going to follow up with them, follow up with them. If you say, hey, can I invite you to the next group? Make sure you do. Make sure you're following up. Caleb was there. Sorry, I should have got my water. Caleb, you know, he does all those awesome videos on YouTube. He had to be asked for 3 years. His coach asked him before he finally signed up. 3 years. He said every month he would just keep coming back to him and asking him over and over and over. And eventually he joined, and look what he's doing now. So trust the follow-up, do the follow-up, and know that it's never no, it's not right now. And you can say it in a way that's nice where people, they're not going to get mad. I really need my water. Sorry. Hold on. I'm going to grab my water. Okay. And then this is where the bulk of her talk came in. So do you have these problems? You guys look through these lists real quick. I know that I can check off probably every single one of these. If you've been a coach for a while, you probably can too. So just read through them for a sec. Okay. So if you feel like you're doing any of these things, I can't see you all, I can just see a couple of you, but raise your hand. Does this sound like stuff that you're struggling with? And when she said that, I know I definitely raised my hand and said, yes, this is something I struggle with. And she said, it doesn't need to be something you struggle with. And it's a reason why a lot of the top coaches don't struggle with this, is because they have this figured out. Okay. So are you using any of these to keep track of your leads? And once again, I could check off a lot of these. So this is where we get really confused, is we have all these different places that we are keeping track of people. So Facebook is the number one for me. So let's say someone likes a picture on my Facebook, and then I'm messaging them, but I'm not sure if I message them over on my like page, because as we all know, if you have a message box in your like page, it's different from your regular Facebook page, and it can get confusing. And then if you have same thing with Instagram, that's a whole different thing, or email or text message or voicemail. And sometimes we can just think, I remember this person, but where did I talk to them? So that's a good thing to keep track of on your list, is where you talk to this person. But we can get to a point where we can't remember where we're talking to people because they're all spread out in all different places. So this is how she described how a coach typically does a sale. It's that they take these people on this wild goose chase. And she says, I don't know about you, but when I'm interested in something and I want to buy it, you have my attention for 7 seconds and then I'm out. And she said, that's pretty typical. So when we're doing all this back and forth and they're not sure where to go, and we're sending them here, like let's say they like it on Instagram, and then we're sending them to Facebook, and then we're messaging them, and then we're telling them about products, and then we're sending them this video, and then finally sending them our link. She says it's just too much. You're sending them too many places where you just need to be like, yes, here it is, sign up, right? So that's what she says. We should be, as coaches, we should be sending them from point A to point B. And then she asked us this question. So she said, how big is your list? You know, how many people do you have in your list? So we're all thinking in our heads, and I'm thinking, okay, well, I have this many followers on Facebook, and I have this many followers on my like page. And then she said, she all knew what we were thinking. And she said, no, your actual list. How many people are in your actual list? So if Mark Zuckerberg decided tomorrow, you know what, I don't like how you're behaving on Facebook, I think you're trying to sell, and he canceled your account and your like page, would you lose? What would happen to your business? Or like Chalene Johnson, when she got hacked and all of her accounts were gone and you couldn't retrieve those, would your business just be gone? Are you putting all of your eggs in social media's basket? And she said, if you are screwed, because you do not own those. You don't own those people. Those are not your list. So how many people do you have? And I'm asking you guys this question. How many people do you have on your list? And what I thought of when she asked me was the only people I actually could get in contact if I was cut off from social media were people through Beachbody email system, right? People that I already have as customers. And then maybe a few that I've gotten their emails from. But how many people do you have on an actual email that you could still contact if you were cut off from social media? Oh, hold on, go back to that one in a second. So she gave the example in December, a lot of top coaches got banned from Facebook for 2 weeks, and they could not figure out why. They hadn't been posting. A lot of them don't even post on their regular Facebook page. They hadn't been mass messaging people. They couldn't figure out, they hadn't been adding friends like crazy, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And they finally determined that it was because they were the admin of too many groups. And so Facebook decided, hey, we think you're selling something on Facebook. We don't like that. So they banned them. So none of these top coaches could get into their coaching groups, into their challenge groups. So they had to use their coaches' accounts to do that. But that's kind of what she's talking about, is we really don't have control over this. And Facebook is getting more and more strict about people selling on Facebook. Unless you're doing it through your like page and ads, they don't want you doing it. Okay. This was just a really random tip that she gave that I thought was funny. And she said, you know, like people that mass add you to groups, like those Lash people or those Wraps people. And then she's like, every time that happens, by the way, I just start promoting my stuff. So if they add me to these Lash groups, I just figure that's free reign to be like, hey, here's my challenge group. Since you added me to this group, I just wanted you to know. So anyway, I thought that was funny. The tip that she gave. Okay, have you ever tried to use Beachbody email system? It's really confusing. This is one of the things when she said, I bet most of you people have your list on Beachbody email system, which is not a good way to keep track of your people because it's confusing. If you have used it, it's really, really confusing. And where does it usually go? It usually goes to their junk, to their spam. So they're not even getting it anyway. And if you do send out a bulk email from here, you can only send out 1,000 at a time. A lot of them will have this do not contact, so that doesn't even help anyway. And then it's illegal to actually export this to your regular email anyway, so you can't even do that even if you wanted to, because Beachbody has to follow these kind of rules. So these are her worst 3 things in life, things that she hates. And this one here on the right is something that I can relate to really, really well. Is Facebook just, you hop onto Facebook to work and it's like, check me, check me, check me. Facebook newsfeed is sucking us in. And we feel like we work all day long and we can't get anything done. So we are hamsters on a wheel going nowhere. But we end the day feeling like nothing is accomplished and we spent all day long on our phone on social media. And then this starts to happen where we disconnect from people. We're not, really in relationships. We're out to dinner on our phones. And the people we care about most are getting ignored. Sorry, I'm taking so much water. I have like this awful tickle in my throat. And then we have to check our phone all the time because we feel like we have all these messages. So every time our phone beeps, she said, how many of you hear that beep? And she actually did the sound of a beep of a message and said, oh, I bet that's someone that wants to order sites. I have to get that. So you're sitting at dinner, you're like, I need to get back to that. I need to get back to that person. That might be a new coach. They might have signed up. They might have a question. And so it's just overtaking our lives. And she said, this is where we need to stop. So here's the bottom line. We must learn to own our social media and not let it own us. So social media isn't going away. There's something we can do. You see those people on Facebook, they're like, well, I'm done with Facebook and I'm getting off. But Facebook is awesome. Social media is awesome. This is how we run our business. We don't have to go knock on people's doors to try to get, them to sign up for our groups. We can reach so many people, especially with ads with Facebook. We just have to learn how to play the game. So we don't want to sell on social media. So this is kind of where it got interesting. She said, how many of you, when Size came out, put up an ad about Size, maybe even you dancing to Size and said, look what just came out. Or maybe you were at Summit dancing with a street full of people and you put that up and said, buy this from me now. She's like, really want you to raise your hand. And, we all like rose our hand even though we didn't really want to. But she's like, yeah, a lot of coaches doing it. But just because you see 300,000 other coaches doing it doesn't mean that it's the right way to do it. Because she says what will happen, and I know this from experience, it's just that the people will get annoyed just because they see it all the time. And it's not that you're being salesy even, or that your posts aren't good. It's just that if your friends every month are saying, time for a clean eating group, time for a challenge group, this new program came out, this is what's on sale, they eventually just don't want that in their feed, right? So they're just going to unfollow you. They're just going to hide your stuff. And then that's where it becomes a struggle because no one in your network is interacting with you. And Facebook's like, oh, she must not post stuff that people like. And then they don't send it out, right? So that's where you really can start to struggle as a Beachbody coach. So we don't want to annoy them. So what she said was interesting is that she doesn't really post on her personal page all that much. She will every now and then, but it's mostly to add value and to remind people every now and then that she's a coach, but it's not incessant. Where she does post a lot of that value stuff is on her like page, and that's where she builds her business. So how do we sell though? How do we get people to buy our stuff then? And this is where our list comes in. And if you guys listen to Chalene Johnson, you know how huge she is on this, and a lot of entrepreneurs are as well, about building your list, something that you own, a way for you to contact people so that it's not annoying and so they actually want to hear from you. So you go from leads to prospects to customers. And she gave this example. As a new coach coming into this business, which with 300,000 other coaches, how are you going to beat the coaches that are making all this money, that can make these awesome ads? Like people on Elance are creating these really beautiful ads for them, and they're paying hundreds of dollars to get them advertised. How are you going to beat that coach when you're a new coach? And this is how, is you're going to build your list. So it's a freemium. If you guys heard of a freemium before, Chalene talks about it all the time. So freemium is just a free gift. It's just something that you create that people want from you. And I've made this so much more complicated, and it stressed me out. And what am I going to do for my free gift? And it's really, really easy. And this is what she just kind of walked us through. Anybody on here can create a free gift. And this is how you start to build your list. Okay, so brainstorm of things that you guys could do for a free gift, because it doesn't have to be hard. So look through this for a minute, because I'm gonna take a drink. Hold on. Because we all have stuff like this. I can actually look at you guys on this call and tell you what I think your free gift should be, because there's all stuff that we do well that other people just don't know. And it blows our mind when we're like, really? People don't know this stuff? But they don't. And it doesn't all have to be meal plans and clean eating and how to exercise. It can be, if you want, that can be your free gift. But I guarantee you there's even more stuff that you guys do well that people want to know about. So when I was thinking about you guys, I thought of Lauren first, just with her hair. Like, hey, Lauren, you could do one on tips on, top 10 tips to do your hair, or what, for going out hair, or whatever. Or Sarah with her makeup, or anyone that knows how to clean or organize, or anything, how to grocery shop, how to get better triceps. You could do a quick tricep video or exercises. So Christine Dwyer has gotten so good at this that she'll post a video of a workout, and then people will be like, yeah, but I want to know what weights you use. I want to know how many sets, how many reps. And she'll be like, yeah, sure, here, fill this out. And then I'll send, and they just put in their name and their email, and then she sends them this little document that she creates. Super easy. And then they're on her list. So I'm going to change it to the next one. You guys can come back to this if you want, but I want you to take it. If you're not doing it now, I want you to do it later. Just take out a piece of paper, because we did it, and I had a whole page full of stuff by the time she was done going through each of these, of stuff that I could offer as a free gift. And it could be 5 tips. It could be something super, super small. So don't make it overcomplicated. Okay, so basically the question you should ask yourself is what you used to struggle with or need, but you have since figured out. Because the struggles that you had are the people that you want to attract to you, because we're all trying to attract people that are like us, right? Because those are the people that we're going to get along with the best and relate to the most. So whatever you used to struggle with, but now you have figured out, that should be your free gift right there. And like I said, you can create lots of freemiums. I gave the example of Christine. And then the way that you do this is that you send them a free tip, 5 free tips to such and such. And then you send them another one. So after 2 or 3 emails of adding value to these people, then you have permission to do a right hook. If you guys haven't read that book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, read it. It's awesome. But then you have permission to say, hey, this new workout program Size came out, and I'm forming a test group for it, and I would love to have you in it. Let me know if you'd like more information. And then you're sending it to their email, so they're probably getting it. But they've already had so much value from you that they're probably going to respond, right? So it's kind of like what we do on social media, but you actually have permission because they've opted in to what you're selling. They already want what you have to offer. You've already given them value, and now you have them on their list, and now you can invite. And then people just asked her how frequently. She said, you don't want to, you don't want to annoy them. You don't want to send them an email every single day, but maybe every other week or something like that. You could send them the emails once you have them on their list. And then these are just a couple things that there's so many ways that you can send free gifts, but of course the best ones are these 10 tips, 5 steps, to report, a YouTube video, anything. You can make one out of anything. And we're going to actually go over this because I know this is fuzzy. So I'm going to show you guys how easy this is to do. And it's blurry here, but here's one that she made that she just gave an example of really quick. But I know some of us use Wufoo. I think I'm saying that right. That sounds weird when I just said it. But anyway, the easier way that she showed us is on Google. And that's what this is. It's just how to do it really quick on Google. And the nice thing about doing it on Google is A, it's free, and B, it keeps track of everyone that responds. The only thing is that if you don't want to pay for an email system, which you can pay for an autoresponder. And it's not that much, and you can usually get a free trial just to see how you like it. But if you don't want to, then you would have to go in here every day or so often and send out people your free gift once they do opt in. So we will go over how to do this. And you can even change the design and stuff like she did. She did this Pio design, and it's super easy. And then this here at the bottom is where the arrow's pointing. That's where all your people that signed up, that's where they would all be. So you would just check in with that once a day and then send people out your email. So let me okay, so you would just go to Google, and this is in the way. I can't get to it. Okay. So you just go to Google, sign into Google. If you don't have a Gmail account, you would have to create a Gmail account. So I'm already logged in. So I just go to this thing here and I go to my Google Drive. And it will pull up and it would look like this. And by the way, this is how I do all my customers. I keep my like pages all in one. This is where I do all my Excel spreadsheets, my invite list. I love it. Google Drive is awesome. Okay, so you'd go up to here to new. And then you go down here to more, and then you'd go to Google Forms. It's being slow. Okay, so then she said the first thing that you want to do is always ask them their name, or sorry, you would say name, and then their email address. Because she said one time, her first one she sent out all this stuff and she got all the people responding and she forgot to say your name and your email address. So you'd always want to do that. And then you can just do whatever you want in here. So top 10 tips for doing your laundry really efficiently. Top 10 tips for keeping your kids happy on a summer day. Whatever you want to do. You can kind of just create this form. You can come over here to change the theme. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. And then once you're done, it gives you this link. And then you can send that link to whoever responds. So if you say, hey, I just created this form for, or this program, video, whatever you want to do for such and such. And then you would send that to them. Let me see if I can expand this back up. So really super easy. I know that there's other ways to do it, and you can hire out Elance. You can do a whole bunch of different options for this. But if you'll notice, all the top coaches are actually putting on banners, and I should have included a picture of this, but they're actually including their free gift in their banner now on their like page. So they're saying, I'm such and such, and I'm a health and fitness coach, blah, 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 blah. If you would like to receive my free meal plan, enter your name and email address here, or click here, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I want a free meal plan, and they'll click right on their banner and they'll enter the email address, and then bam, they already have all these new people on their list. And so when a new program comes out, I'm on Melissa McAllister's list, I'm on Jimmy Nelson's list, I'm on a few top coaches lists because they just wanted something that they were giving away, and they email me every time something new comes out, and they're like, hey, I don't know if you saw, but we have new Shakeology boosts and new whatever that they now can send to my personal email. So she did say one thing about this is to not put in, have them put in their phone number, because that'll scare people off. So you don't want to have them do their phone number. Okay, so now I'm going to How do I not share anymore? I don't know. Okay, so you guys can unmute while I figure this out. Do you guys have questions? Did that all make sense? Do you guys understand what a freemium is? Yes? No? Maybe so.
I understand, but I'm a little confused on the process of getting it out there.
So whatever it is, so let's see. Let's say you wanted to do yours on, because you're a teacher and you're really organized, you want to do on top 10 ways to organize your classroom, or you could even do organize anything. And you could say, people have it in their banner, but you could just create a post and say, hey, I created this top 10 ways. If you're interested in it, just let me know. So you'd post that on your social media, wherever you want. And then people would say yes, and you'd have this link that you send them, so that if they said they were interested, then you'd have this link and you'd get their name and email address. Like, they would click on it and they would give you their name and email address on that form that we just did, and they'd show up in that autoresponder, and then you would send them out your free gift.
Okay, so the tap, or the 10 tips are not on the form. You send it out once they fill out the form.
Right. Once they give you their name and their email address, then you send them whatever you've created. So that is on the form. So let me see if I can go back. Okay, so this is the form, and you can create. So what should we create? Tips for whatever you want to do, and then we'll just fill in stuff. You can make it multiple choice. You can go here and do whatever you want. So we'll just do tests, and it just fills it out. And then when you click done, it creates a link for you. I'll just show. And there's all these different options. Okay, so here's your link now that you have. So when you email this form out to people, it's going to it'll send them. I don't know how to do it without emailing it to you. So it'll send them the form that you created. So this is your form. This is how you create your top 10. This is how you create your free gift. Does that make sense? Kind of, sort of. So that's just the way that Google form is how you create your gift. And then when they give you your name and email address, it will enter them into the system on there.
And are they putting their name and email inside that form, or is that a separate form?
They can. You can keep it on track on Google. You can keep it on track on your Yahoo, whatever yours is, however it's easiest for you to keep track of this. I would recommend starting a new email address. Like, so if you're I wouldn't mix your personal with your business, just because it kind of could get distracting. But they keep track of that for you on Google if you want. Like, they'll even create an Excel spreadsheet of all these new email addresses for you. So you could send out that first one with your name, email address, and what she always asks people is, are you a Beachbody coach? Just because she doesn't want to start a conversation with someone if they're already a Beachbody coach. So you could say your name, email address, are you already a Beachbody coach? Click here if you'd like to receive my free gift on the top 10 tips to stay organized this summer. And then they would fill that out. They'd enter their name and their email address. They would get put in your Google Drive, your Excel spreadsheet, and then you would send them out their free gift that you could create. Okay. You could create 2 separate things on here. If your free gift is a YouTube video on exercises to get flatter abs, then you would send that out to them. So it's whatever you want to do. If your free gift is anything, it can be so many different things, but it can be that too. It can just be a quick list that you've created really quick and you send them that. So that Google Doc is a way to keep the email addresses and send out your free gift. So it's like 2 in 1. There are ways where people will do it for you, like Aweber, where you don't even have to think about it. They're sending it out for you. But that just costs money. So this is just a way that she was teaching us to do it for free, but you do have to do it yourself. So you'd have to automatically send it out. Does that make sense? So you would create the first one, name, email address, you can put that link in your post that you're making. You could put it on your like page, and then they'd click that, send you their name, email address, click no, I'm not a Beachbody coach, or if you don't care about that, then you don't have to put that, whatever question you want to ask them on there. And then you would get that in your Google Drive. It would have it all laid out for you in an Excel spreadsheet. And then you would just send all those people, you check it at night and send all those people your YouTube video on how you do meal prepping or whatever you want to do. Yeah? Okay, I know that I had to hear this from Chalene Johnson. I've been listening to her for months, and I was like, no, this is too confusing. This is too hard. I'm just going to do it social media's way. And I totally, if you're feeling like that, I felt like that too. And I was like, I'm just too overwhelmed to do this. But I wish I would have started this a long time ago because I don't have a list. And I see so many coaches. Missy Reber does it. Breezy does it, where they send out, and I've opted into Missy's and Breezy's, and this is how I know, is that every month they send me an update of what they're doing, and it's really cute. And they'll be like, Missy usually uses whatever holiday, hey, make these holiday treats but make them healthy. And then at the end she's like, and if you want to join my challenge group, this is what we're doing. So these people are not only getting this every month, but they're opening the email because she's adding value. She's adding value. So they want to get in there to get that recipe for the healthy Halloween treat or whatever. And then they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. She's running a challenge group. And then they see that. So she's advertising to people and selling to people that actually want it. And she's not having to do it on social media and drive people crazy by not having to sell all the time. Do you know what I mean? So when Christine did this, she did this. What was her first one that she did? Something about working out, because she was a fitness trainer. And she got 50 emails that very first day that she signed up as a coach. She had already been a fitness trainer. She's like, well, I know, I'll just do. She was friends with Chalene, so this is how she knew this. She said, I'll just do my free gift about 10 ways to lose the muffin top or whatever she did. And then 50 emails appeared in her inbox that day. And that was 50 people that she was able to message back and forth with, get to know better, and invite to a group that had actually opted in. And they can opt out, and maybe they will. But this is a way that she had to get in contact with them. So she wasn't having to, as a new coach, be like, all of a sudden, Beachbody, 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 Beachbody. Because we know it, when new coaches do that, people are like, what's going on? Like, you were just hardly ever posting on social media. Now all of a sudden, 3 times a day, it's like Shakeology, and look at this new program. And now let's, join my challenge group, join my clean eating group. So that was her whole point, is we don't want to drive people away with just talking about Beachbody all the time. So if you have another way to contact them, which you can, I guess you could message each person, which is what we do. But this was just an easier way where you can bulk send out this email to everyone on that list. So you send out a bulk email once a month. Hey, this is my value. This is adding value. Oh, by the way, I'm running this challenge group if anyone wants to join. So that's the whole thing behind it. So as new coaches, she was specifically talking to new coaches, like, this is so important to do because you're building your list from day one, and soon you're going to have a list of a ton if you keep doing it, if you keep adding value and free gifts.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
So if for the free gift, I'm still a little confused because I don't really, like, the things I think about are not fitness related. That
it doesn't have to be. And she actually said it's better if it's not.
Oh, okay.
Like, everyone, she kind of made us take an oath and say, I will not do a free meal plan, because every Beachbody coach is doing a free meal plan. And she's like, I know it's so tempting because it's so easy and that's what you know. And that's what was on top of my list. I was going to do a meal plan. And she's like, but try not to. Try to do something else. So there was a coach that she gave an example of that's an accountant. And this accountant was like, well, I don't know. I just started. I don't know that much. And she said, but you know about about taxes. Like you should do something about taxes, like top 10 tips of blah, blah, blah. Or if you're really good at budgeting, like how we got out of credit card debt. It's actually better if it's not related. If you are super awesome at fitness or clean eating, like Krista, I kind of thought of that for you. Like you're so good at clean eating and prepping and all that stuff. Like that would be an awesome gift that Krista could give for sure. But it's whatever she said, it should be whatever you know really well, because that's going to attract people that are just like you. So your free gift does not have to be fitness related.
Oh, good, because I'm learning from all of you guys.
Yeah, it could be like I think she gave an example of like if you know how to sew on a button like nobody else, or you know how to like patch up holes in your kids' jeans, it can literally be anything. And she said the funny thing is you can find out all this stuff on Google, but people don't want it on Google. They want to see you post about it. They're like, yeah, I want that. And then they just want you to email it to them. So it can be anything.
It's like my husband on eBay. He says nobody wants to go shopping, so he brings it to them.
Exactly. That is just what people want. They want to put in their name and email address real quick and have you send it to them in their inbox.
Okay.
And it's funny because now that I've been watching this, I'll see so many coaches do that. Like they just want your email address. So, and then if it says a Beachbody, you have to click if you're a Beachbody coach, and she says she just deletes those because she does start messaging these people back and forth, and she doesn't want to spend all that time if they can't purchase anything from her in the long run. But yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys are like catching on to this because all I see is like a bunch of blank stares, but I promise you it's not. To me, it just seemed really overwhelming whenever Shalene was talking about it. But when she broke it down yesterday and actually walked us through how to create this form, I was like, okay, I could do that. I could come up with 5 tips on how to do something. And then you're just starting a list. Just start one. And then you just have a small audience that you're like, and she said the more you do it, the better you're going to be like, oh yeah, I should just create how to wash fruit. Yeah, I'm going to do that. That's what somebody did a Periscope on today. The Fit and Funky, that girl. She did a Periscope on how to wash fruit. And there was like 300 people on her Periscope watching this. And I'm like, people will really, they just want you to tell them what to do. Even though you're like, hey, if you go to the files, like we've done this as coaches, go to the files. There's all this information there. No, I just want you to tell me what to do. Like people just want that. So I don't know. I'm going to try it. I think that it takes a little bit of time to build your list. So am I saying like, don't ever post on social media again, like selling your challenge groups and stuff? No, that's just how we do it. But when you have a list like Christine's, you don't need to anymore. But I mean, that's not where we're at. So still post on social media. I'm not saying that. Still do everything that you guys are doing. Still promote your challenge groups because that's just where we're at in our business. But my hope is eventually we can have a list so big that we're just promoting to them and selling to them. And it doesn't have to be all through social media, so that if we get banned for 2 weeks, it's like, oh, okay. That's not where, my customers were anyway.
So is there like a Yahoo that does that, or is it just Google that does it?
Just Google was the one that she showed us. I don't think Yahoo does forms like that.
Okay.
But I mean, I can send you, I don't know if you know Amy Porterfield. But she has this really awesome, every podcast that she does, she's all about list building. That's basically all she talks about on her podcast. And she had a free giveaway where she just sent it to my email again. So I put in my email address, and she sent me the top 10, email things to use that were the best. She tells you the price. She like breaks down, like this is what the email is. They'll do autoresponder. They'll do everything for you so that but they cost money. So she did it from free to costing the most expensive. So it's a whole list, and I can put it in the pages and Forever Fitness or whatever. But this to me just seemed like a good way to get started. And then once your list gets overwhelming, you could always pay for help.
I just have a quick question. Did she say anything about like the email's going to spam.
Well, that's why you don't want to use like Beachbody. That's why they all go, when we message people from Beachbody, they all just go to the junk folder.
Yeah, but a lot of times, like my coaches find my emails in their junk folders.
From where are you using it from? A Gmail?
Yahoo.
Yeah, Yahoo's not great. Actually, Shalene talked about Yahoo as being the least secure when she got hacked. She's like, if you're on Yahoo, you're basically announcing to the world that you still live in 1995 or whatever. And I have Yahoo, so I was like, oh. And so she's like, Gmail is the most secure, first of all, but it does all this other stuff. So yeah, you would just get a new email. And I know a lot of people use Gmail, but there's a lot of others. And then she said, when you're making this free gift, like, and when you're emailing people, don't sound like, you want to make it sound like you're talking to each person individually. And if you do the subject line, did you get it? Like, then people will open it. So you want to do the subject line as something that, like, that you're talking to a friend. And then like 7 days later, you want to say, hey, I know that you were really wanting that list on blah, blah, blah. And I just wanted to make sure that you got it okay and how it's going for you. Please let me know if it doesn't make sense. Like, just talk casual and talk like you would talk to your friends. So people don't feel like, ew, she's sending this out to like 500 people and I can feel it. Like Shalene does a really good job of that. If you're on her email list, of making it seem like she's talking just to you, even though we know she's not, So you guys commit to me to make a free something. It can be super easy. Like, I don't know. What?
I said I'm doing one.
Are you doing it on hair? Because I want to opt into that.
Yes.
Awesome. See, everyone has something. Top 10 books to read this summer. It's like she just named so many. I was like, oh, like there's just so many.
Or couponing. If anyone knows how to couponing, I want to know how to do that.
Seriously. How to get your baby to sleep through the night.
Yeah.
How to make your kids not be so snotty. Yeah, there. See, Samantha would buy that or opt into that. So,
stop recording right now, okay?
Yeah.